Hello there guys, Aaron Chalner here for Forever Football DRFC, your Doncaster Rovers fan channel, and today, even though I'm wearing my proud red and white colours, there's a different red and white, or should I say blue, red and white playing in the next week or so, and that is of course during the international break. We've got three big friendlies for England National Football Club, the national football team of England, the Three Lions, San Marino, Albania and Poland. I believe all three of them are going to be on ITV, so I cannot wait. And before you say anything, yes, we are going to be covering these World Cup qualifiers, previews, reviews, etc. We're also going to be covering the Euros, because I think all the games are going to be on either ITV or BBC, which is fantastic. So we're going to be covering all of England's Euro games, and hopefully we have a good Euros. But this is my reaction, really, to the newly announced 26-man squad for the friendlies. Now, of course, there is a few things we'll take into account. The fact that it is San Marino, Albania and Poland. In my personal opinion, you know, these friendlies, first of all, overall, are a test. This is the time to experiment for Gareth Southgate. See what works, see what doesn't work, and go with it. And, you know, obviously there's going to be a few selections in here that people won't be a fan of. However, I think the biggest test out of those three will be Poland, because, of course, it's got the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Klich from Leeds, you know, loads of different players. But there's two main players, attacking-wise, that I would pick out for Poland. That's Klich, if he plays, and Robert Lewandowski. So, you know, there's other players as well, don't get me wrong. I haven't forgotten the names, I just picked two random ones out, for example. I know Lewandowski is going to be the major threat for Poland. Massive threat. For Albania, I mean, there's some wonderful players in there. San Marino, they're great in their own way as well, so we can't treat every game like it's going to be a stroll, because you never know, do you? But this is the test now. This is where we get to see Gareth Southgate work with the squad he's got. Obviously, I'm going to point out a few selections that I'm not too sure about why, but I'll explain why. And, you know, there's explanations and reasons for every bit of the selections that are not in there. So, obviously the 26-man squad will be on your screen somewhere, and let's go through it. So we've got three goalkeepers. Dean Henderson of Manchester United. Sam Johnstone gets a call up from West Brom. Well done to Sam Johnstone, our former keeper from a few years ago, on loan to us from Man United at one point. So, of course, he played for Rovers for a season. So, massive shout out to Sam Johnstone for getting the call up. And also Nick Pope of Sean Dyche's Burnley. Now, of course, many people that have been living under a rock will probably say, where's Jordan Pickford from Everton? Pickford is injured. We knew that already a couple of days ago. We knew he was going to miss these friendlies. I think he'll be back in the Euros. Does that mean Pope gets dropped, Henderson gets dropped, or Johnston gets dropped? We don't know. If they perform great, and they show a lot more than Pickford's done, Pickford's spot might be under threat. You never know. You never know what can happen. Going into the defence then, this is the first interesting one. Chilwell from Leicester, Cody from Wolves, Dyer from Spurs. I'll explain why. Reece James from Chelsea. Obviously not our Reece James, but massive shout out to Reece James and Doncaster Rovers, because I'm sure he'll get in there at some point. Harry Maguire from Manchester United. Tyrone Mings from Aston Villa. Luke Shaw from Manchester United gets a call in. John Stones from Manchester City. Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid, and Kyle Walker from Manchester City. So quite a few Man City players in there. Leicester, Wolves, Spurs, Man United, Aston Villa's in there. Bit of Atletico greatness in Trippier. Now, of course, the big thing from that is, I mean, look at the fullbacks. Chilwell, James, Mings, Shaw, Trippier, Walker. There's options on either side, so you can play a back four if you want to, but you've also got Jones, Mings, Maguire, Dyer, Cody. There's plenty of options there, and Southgate sometimes, or most of the time, likes to play a back three. The other noticeable thing from the defence is, where in the God name is Trent Alexander-Arnold? I can't explain that one. I don't know what's happened with that one. Someone please correct me in the comments down below if you know what's happened with Trent. And you know what? This is a wide range thing, really, because I'm going to go through the rest of the squad, but there's no Liverpool players in this squad. I'm looking through the list right now. I am looking down that list just to double check I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. There is no Liverpool players. And I think there's a reason behind that, and that is because of Klopp's injury crisis. Look at the players he's got at the minute. I can only name a few because there's so many. But the main ones are like the likes of Van Dijk, Matip. I think Fabinho's out, Henderson's out. I don't think Alisson's out. No. So Henderson, Fabinho, Van Dijk, Matip. That's just 4 examples. There's plenty more, to look for. And, they're having to force to play the likes of Ben Davies, brought in from Preston. They're having to force Nathaniel Phillips in there. They're having to force Henderson at centre-back before he got injured. They were trying to bring in Kabak, of course, who came in from Schalke. So Liverpool's have a big injury crisis. And once that gets sorted next season, they'll challenge back up the top 4 again. But I think the reason why Alexander-Arnold and other England nationality Liverpool players are out of this squad, like the likes of Curtis Jones, etc., is because they don't want to risk more players. And I think Klopp's turned around and said, we don't want to risk more players. So I think that's why Trent's not in this friendly squad. Don't forget, this is just a friendly squad for the World Cup qualifiers, the European qualifiers. This isn't the final Euro squad or the final World Cup squad for next year. This is just for the 3 friendlies. So once the season's over, I do expect to see Trent Alexander-Arnold and other people back in this squad. It's just a case of when. So going into the midfielders then, obviously there is a call-up or two. Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund. Congratulations to Jude, the former Birmingham City midfielder. Phil Foden from Man City absolutely deserves the call-up. Jesse Lingard, I'm so proud of that guy. So proud of him. On loan at West Ham from Manchester United. He's proved time and time again in that West Ham shirt why he's a crucial player for that team. He gets the call-up he deserves, and I hope he takes the opportunity and grasps it with both hands and moonwalks straight back into England hearts. Mason Mount from Chelsea, young, up-and-coming playmaker, great, not even near his prime years yet, which is it's deadly. If he's not near his prime years yet and he's this good already, he's deadly. Calvin Phillips from Leeds United, brilliant, amazing. Declan Rice from West Ham deserves it. I think it was between us and Ireland, so very well done for Declan Rice for choosing England. And finally, James Ward-Prowse. And I know some people are going to be like, why James Ward-Prowse? I'll tell you why James Ward-Prowse. Because I think he's a set-piece specialist. I think he's perfect for free kicks, perfect for, playmaking, box-to-box style midfield. He's a perfect midfielder for that. If you're playing 3 at the back, and you're going like a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-2-1 or a 3-4-1-2 with a cam and 2 strikers instead of 2 cams and a striker, or you go for the 3-4-3 like I said, where you got the 4 across with the 3 at the back behind them, the 3 up front in front of them, whether it's 2 wingers and a forward or inside forwards and a striker. Ward-Prowse could do the box-to-box work in the midfield too, with the wide midfielders next to him to work it towards the inside forwards / attacking wingers. From the wide midfielders. So there's a certain chemistry you get when you work with Ward-Prowse, and I think that he'd be brilliant in this squad. So I'd like to see him maybe try it out in the San Marino game. I'd like to see what he does in the San Marino game, work the play, work his way around the San Marino defence, try and work their way through the midfield, get it up to the attackers, get it on goal. I do expect it to beat San Marino. I probably expect it to beat Albania. Poland will be the test. Poland will be the test because they're the best team out of the 3. Ward-Prowse, in my opinion, will play at least 1, maybe 2 of those games. And you know which one I'm going to miss out. It's the Poland game. But if he plays in the Poland game and puts in a star-studded performance, not only can he take that to Southampton, but he is then giving Southgate a selection headache for the Euros. So there's a bit of promise here with Ward-Prowse in the lineup, but all in all for the midfielders, not too shabby. Finally, in the attackers, the forwards, Calvert-Lewin is in there from Everton. Harry Kane, of course, is in there from Spurs. Marcus Rashford, of course, in there from Man United. Bukayo Saka, of course, gets called up from Arsenal. Brilliant for the lad. Raheem Sterling from Man City, of course. And this one's an interesting one. Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. Now, I've not got anything against Ollie Watkins being called up because he deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. He's been a revelation at Aston Villa. My criticism of the forwards being chosen for the friendlies and to experiment is if he hasn't selected Patrick Bamford from Leeds United, when is he going to get the call-up? Because in my opinion, I think he's had a better form than Ollie Watkins. And that doesn't mean Ollie Watkins should get dropped, because I think he's been brilliant. But the thing is, who do you drop? Who do you drop? Because if you bring in Bamford, I don't want them to drop Watkins, but who else can you drop? Sterling, Saka, Rashford, Kane, Calvert-Lewin. None of those 5 deserve to get dropped. So you'd have to drop Watkins for Bamford. Obviously, it was a tough decision, I'm sure, between Watkins and Bamford. But I think overall it should be interesting. So obviously with that squad, there is definitely a lot of promise in there. It looks like we're going to play 3 at the back. But there is the wing-back options and the full-back options with your Shaws and your Reece Jameses, etc. and your Chilwells and your Kyle Walkers and your Trippiers and Chilwells. And, there's an option to play 4 at the back instead and go for like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 or something like that. So I think there's creative promise. I know a lot of fans want Gareth Southgate to go. I know a lot of fans want him to go. And this is where I'm at in terms of the England manager. I will give him the Euros. If we get to a respectable stage in the Euros, I'll give him the World Cup. If we have an embarrassing World Cup, Southgate out. That's where I stand. I'll give him the Euros and possibly give him the World Cup. If he doesn't deliver on both of them, that's my line. That's my limit. Southgate goes. But then who do you bring in? And to be fair, that's the same question with any other manager. If you bring someone out, who do you bring in? Who's available, right? Who'd be available after the Euros if he goes, or after the World Cup if he goes, to replace him? Because, yeah, you could say Eddie Howe, Rafael Benitez, Frank Lampard. But who could realistically manage England? Unless it was, and, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you could pry him away from Rangers, my pick to take over as England manager would be Steven Gerrard. Now, people might think I'm crazy, people might think I'm absolutely mad. But I think Steven Gerrard will be a great manager for England. But talking about Southgate, we'll see how he does. I'll give him the Euros. If he doesn't deliver, at least the World Cup. If he doesn't deliver there, out the door. I'd be 50-50 during the World Cup if he's out of the Euros very early on. But if he's out early on in the World Cup, or gets worse and worse and worse throughout the World Cup, out the door. So that's where I stand. But in terms of that 26-man squad, there's positives, there's negatives. Liverpool players don't want to be rushed in case of more injuries, like Trent getting injured. That would be a big blow for Liverpool if the right back gets injured. Obviously, Bamford not being in there is a big blow. The call-ups for Bellingham and Saka, those are big positives. Ward-Prowse gets a chance. Shaw gets a chance. Obviously, this is Maguire's opportunity now to redeem himself from past United performances. And obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what they do without Jordan Pickford. This is the time to shine now for Dean Henderson, for Nick Pope, and especially Sam Johnstone. Because I know this keeper. He's been at us for a season on loan. I know what this keeper can do. I know what he can do. It was very 50-50 at Doncaster Rovers on loan a few years ago. But you know what? I know he can do good. I know he can do wonders with the squad. So if Sam Johnstone gets a chance, I'm going to cheer him on like I would do any other player. So thank you very much, guys, for watching my reaction to the 26-man England squad. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And for now, guys, my name is Aaron Chandler from Forever Football, DRFC. Keep living the Rovers life. Stay tuned for the Gillingham preview tomorrow. And for now, guys, that is full time. Rovers till I die. Come on, 3 Lions.